we go. Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me. A little bit late getting over here. Hello, good morning, Julian. Thank you for confirming. Don't hesitate to jump on the mic if anybody has questions, comments. Here we go with my analysis of what's going on in the market, what to expect today. It's another one of those mornings where there's been a big gap because of news. So I will very unlikely take anything in the first half hour. But I will still look at my trading view charts, and I'll analyze where price is and what what if I do see something, what I might take. And I'm going to set some alerts as well. So 5 things to know, Monday, April 13th, things to know about what's going on in the markets. So stocks are lower and oil is higher after the weekend peace talks did not lead to a deal. There's things that could be happening this morning. 10 a.m. seems to be a deadline or line in the sand as far as Trump putting out information on Truth Social this morning. Crude oil futures are surging above 100 again. Big gap up over when the markets opened at 6 p.m. Sunday. New Trump tariff threats, as report says, China is arming Iran. And then the banking stocks are starting to come out with their earnings. So Goldman Sachs kicks off big bank earnings amid uncertain economy. Economic calendar, there's not much going on here. We've got existing home sales coming in at 10 a.m. This is a 3-star important or possible important indicator. So we'll see what happens at 10 a.m. And from now on, I will be using my trading view chart exclusively. I wanted to share that I do have an indicator on here now to give me my yesterday high, my yesterday low, pre-market high and pre-market low. So I coded this. There's others out there, but I wanted simplicity. I wanted to look like what I had on DOS, so the dotted lines. These are levels of interest. That's how I trade. I do nothing until we are at a level of interest, and most of the time, I want to see how the market reacts at that level. It could be something that that is a nothing burger, pre-market high. We could just blow past it there. Therefore, it's not worth looking at. The other one that I'm going to put on here is the close. I just didn't have time to do it over the weekend, but I will be adding the close. It'll be something that'll be toggled on and off. Just because with futures, the close is not as important as the PDC on stocks. I will remove some of these areas here just so that we have a little bit less information. And here we go with where price is right now. So we gapped down this morning at 4 a.m. We are hanging around yesterday's low, or at least we were this morning. This yesterday's low, which is the dotted line here. Maybe I'll make these a little bit bigger. And I am on the 30-minute, so I think I'll make the labels a little bit bigger. But right now we're at yesterday's low. This is where it seems to have held support. Big 30-minute fair value gap from the high of aftermarket on Friday. So as far as I'm concerned, room to the left. I'm changing a little bit. I want to see if there is transactions there. So as far as room to the left over here, we don't have anything in pre-market this morning, but we were there on Friday. So what I'm really looking for in Apple is above the highs over here, this area over here. But especially if we come down and show that yesterday's low, as well as S4, if this is showing support. In other words, if it comes down here and puts in another wick down here to show that the buyers are stepping in, this might be an area to buy. So this is what I'm looking at as far as Apple is concerned. AMD, I think everything, I haven't looked at everything yet, but I think everything will have gap down in early trading. We are above yesterday's low. And when I say yesterday's low, obviously I'm talking about Friday. That was quite the massive move on AMD. I wasn't paying attention to the markets on Friday. I was not trading, so this is news to me. I don't know if there was news on Friday, but that was quite the big move, big breakout move. Just out of curiosity, this is where we broke out. Let's put some fibs on here just to see. Right, we put a big move over here, and we've opened below the golden zone. So as far as I'm concerned, this is not pertinent. As far as where price is right now, room to the left, well, there's that big gap, right? So we might fill in this gap and then continue down. Or what I'm looking at is I want to see how does it react to pre-market low. And then if it does go lower, I wouldn't necessarily short because there's another level of possible support over here. These levels are magnets, usually. Not always, but they're usual magnets, and they're the four most important ones. So that's what I'm looking at this morning, is just to see how we are going to react to these levels, especially in the first half hour. I want to see how the market reacts to the news in the Middle East. Amazon, tighter range with 240 to 230, so it's $6 range here between yesterday's high and where we were in pre-market. So this one has already closed the gap. So for Amazon, I'd like to see, does it take out liquidity in this area over here and then reject for the move down? Or does it continue? And if it does continue, we had consolidation here this morning. This is the breakout. If it were to come back down here to S3, it could be a breakout and retest for the move further up. Possible resistance at pre-market high, possible resistance at yesterday high. Questions, comments with this, please don't hesitate. Full disclosure, I will not be trading these tickers for the time being. Right now, I'm concentrating on the Top Step Combine and concentrating on getting back into trading my own account with futures. But I still like looking at these. It's not like I'll never trade them again. It's just for the time being, I'm concentrating on futures. Google 30-minute time frame. We are about to close that gap from here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Right, so this fair value gap that was created with the big gap down here. So the market seems to be wanting to buy still, but this is on very low volume during the pre-market. So very curious to see what's going to happen once the market opens. So if I were a gambling man, if I was a scalper, I would be betting that we are going to close this gap. We are going to go probably to the central pivot area and then decide, do we continue up or do we reject? Again, these levels are what I'm looking at. If I really wanted to take a long, I'd want to see the market come back down to the lows over here. And as far as a short, I don't see anything unless we reject this prior area where we've got a fair value gap here from Friday. So if it were to wick in here and reject, possibly make it to R3 on a lower range day, from the close on Thursday to the close on Friday, we're a little bit lower. The Camarilla rules system usually say that on a lower range day, you can short R3 to S3. Not necessarily something I trade, but I do like having the levels on my screen. This was a prior level. This purple rectangle here, not super pertinent right now. Pre-market high is right where price is right now. This is a very interesting level right here on Meta. If it were to wick up here and reject, it could be a short. Um, because all this volume over here, yes, it's a big green candle, but it's on very, very low volume in pre-market. So I'd be looking at what price is going to do at this level. So not necessarily a short. We could just keep on ripping, and then possible resistance at R3, possible resistance at R4, which is also Friday's high. It is 9:30. I don't know if according to this, no, we've got 45 seconds until 9:30. My Windows clock and the market clock are off by about 40 seconds. I don't know why. Microsoft is again a lot of buying. Wow, I don't know. The news come in just in the last few minutes to say that things are rectified in the Middle East. If so, I'm going to be looking at taking a short on oil. Let's see what's going on with crude. No, there's not much going on with crude, so I'm assuming there's no news. Microsoft, again, these levels are where I'm interested in looking. I want to see it take out pre-market high and yesterday high. This is where I'd be looking at either a rejection of this area or a continuation. NVIDIA, just stair stepping higher. Right, getting back into the 190s. If it were to come back down to pre-market low, right, wick down here for the continuation up, this might be a good long, especially that I wouldn't be surprised to close this gap. Other than that, I'd be curious to see what happens at the highs. Right, and by what happens, I mean, are buyers in control? If so, it might be a long on the retest. If sellers are in control, I'd be looking for liquidity sweep and then a move lower. But the bias, short term, at least for the last week and a half, is definitely higher. Tesla, sideways action. Really been going sideways the last couple of days. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So we've got pre-market high and yesterday high, and Friday's high here are very similar. The yesterday's high is taken during market hours. So the fact that it spiked up after market hours on Friday is not taken into consideration. I'll see if I really want to use the after hours over here. It is a setting that you can change to use after hours as well. So the market is open. Good luck to anybody who's trading the open. Like I said, I really want to see what the market does in the first 30 minutes. Qs, way too much color on here. Let's get rid of some of these. Get rid of this. There we go. So pre-market high and yesterday's low are right at the same area, which means that it's even possibly a stronger level. So if we wick up here and reject and see that the sellers are in control as far as room to the left, well, we've got to go all the way back to Friday, right? Nothing in here and nothing this morning. So there is room to the left over here for the possible rejection, and then possible support at S6, possible support at pre-market low. Let's get rid of this level as well. And on SPY, get rid of these, and my watch is going off right now. What do we got? No, nothing important as far as the markets are concerned. Yesterday low, we are below yesterday low. We are above pre-market high. This could be a rejection of this area here, so sellers might be in control still. So interesting to see what's going to happen in the first little while. I don't know if anybody has anything to add, anything to share. Please don't hesitate. Um, and I haven't upgraded my trading view yet, so I can't put 10 tickers on my screen. What I do plan on having more often than not is ES or MNQ, because they do tend to affect the market. So as far as ES is concerned, we had a big drop 6 p.m. yesterday when the market opened, but support, excuse me, support after that first 30 minutes, right? We have this really short-term double bottom here for the low, and now we're closing that gap. The market loves to close those gaps. Uh, if it were to wick up just above yesterday's low, it could put in a kangaroo tail for a rejection or a reversal from this move up. Don't forget, this move up is a much lower volume. So that's what I'd be looking at here. If it were to wick up here, especially I'd be looking at a 5-minute candle now the market's open. If it were to put in a wick in here and then sell strong, this could be a short indicator, and I'd be aiming for pre-market low. So let's see what happens here on the 5-minute time frame. Oil is pulling back. Oil has just been choppy ever since that the market opened on Sunday at 6 p.m. Gold has been moving up from the big drop, closing that gap. Get rid of these fibs. A bit too much information here. Yesterday's high is pretty high up there, 48.19. This is an area of interest as far as I'm concerned. We're making new highs, but we rejected pre-market high here, which is basically closing this gap from the close on Friday, 5 p.m. We might be rejecting this area again, but it has been pretty strong, so I'm a little bit more biased towards a long. Wonder if Tarek has anything to say about gold here. I know Tarek trades gold a lot. Okay, let's go to the 5-minute candle here. Um, so we've got the pre-market high here. Seems to have rejected pre-market high again, putting in a bearish 5-minute candle here. This is not my setup, but that is a pretty bearish candle here. Possibility for short. Um, from the break of the low of this bearish candle here, with the stop above pre-market high. Let's see. 3R would have to go below pre-market low, but let's just put this in here just for now. Let's just see. It does seem to be rejecting this area. Double top from a low of from the market open on Sunday at 6 p.m. So we'll just put this on here as a simulated trade for this is on gold, MGC. Curious to know what's happening in MES. And that's there. There we go. Thank you. Just realized that I turned off my mic. So thank you very much for that, Shane. Appreciate that. I was just saying that this is one of my setups, right? Or it's close to one of my setups. What I like to see is, will we reject this level? The fact that it's under S4 and we opened under S4, this could be strong resistance. However, for me to short this, it would have to take out liquidity, as in I want to see a spike in price and then a rejection. So I want to see stop orders being taken out over here. And then I want to see people getting into positions. So the fact that I was just saying that this candle here, even though printed red, it's still somewhat bullish. It's bullish because we wicked down here and then closed up here. Right. And then, so yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. And I'd prefer if it didn't happen until 10 a.m. Right. I want to see the battle going sideways for a bit. Let's go back to the 5-minute time frame here. right? So we rejected pre-market high at the open here, but I mean, this somebody shorting S3 over here. It could be profitable, but for me, there's no trade, right? It has to be a rejection candle, and then you have to get an entry over here. I mean, the candle closed, closed here, but it wicked all the way down here. So for me, this is nothing. I can't do anything here. And now that we're below pre-market low, I mean, this could be a potential for a breakdown and a retest of this area. So if we were to come back into this area, let's put on an alert. If we were to come back above a pre-market low, wick in here, and then put in a trendy kangaroo, then it could be an entry for the further short, the short continuation. Right? So. Looks like weekend short position hedges are being unwound fairly quickly. The bounce up since futures open last night has closed gaps on most metals, cryptos, and indices. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Hamza. Yeah, there was a big gap down in everything, but then creeping our way up, closing that gap possibly, right? We are just close to yesterday's low. This is where I'd like to possibly get into a position. I want to see it come all the way up here. I want to see it come to this level, right? This was a strong level, right? It was a level of resistance on Wednesday. Then we popped above it. Then it became support. So this, which is the dotted line for yesterday's low, is an important level. And that's the only spot where I will possibly get into a trade. It needs to come and take it out. Now, it's not at the penny, but it needs to be closer than where it is right now. However, there's a lot of people that would have shorted S4 here. Like I put in this trade here just because, sorry, no, it wasn't. What I was talking about was S4 on MES. No, gold was the rejection of pre-market high here. This is not my setup, but I just put it in just to show that it's a possibility. I do not like that 3R is below possible support of pre-market low here, but I've got it in here just for the fun of it. Just there might be people that are shorting this, right? Possible double top if you're looking at 4 a.m. and then the open price.
I took the short for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting squeezed now. Well,
I was wondering, Tarek, if you were going to take it, because it's a nice pattern, right? We were rejecting this area here, A very conservative stop for me would have been just above over here, just so that we allow to close the gap, right? But I mean, now you're looking at 3 to 1, you're looking pretty far down, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for not having a new high, but with this candle, I think some news is.
Are you on the 5-minute time frame, Tarek?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The 5-2 and 15 and 30.
Okay.
I use multiple time frame to do my analysis.
Yeah, I use a 30 and the 15 as well. See,
Yeah, I got squeezed in this one.
that's what's going to happen. We're going to close the gap. So the market wants it. We've got buyers and sellers that are still left behind here. All right. So just let's see if we had gotten in with the, and I full disclosure, I said this was not setting up as my my setup, right? I would not have taken this trade, but I put it in there just because it's a possible double top. I'm not doing anything until 10 a.m. and you're going to see that I'm probably not going to be doing anything in the next while before 10 a.m. So now, did we just spike up? Here, let's remove this. Did we
I think
just?
some news is out because also the crude oil is selling really hard. ES and NQ, they are buying,
Yeah.
and gold is buying. Yeah, I think some news is out.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has. Yeah, there's alerts going off. A lot of buying. So you know what? Hopefully it's good news, right? And if anybody's in any positions that you're getting stopped out because of this, that's unfortunate. That's how this market has been reacting lately. Just it could be a tweet, and let me just see my Truth Social here. 15 minutes ago, Trump has something to do with Ukraine. Yeah. So I don't see anything in news right now. If anybody has any news, please let us know. Iranians are looking at uranium enrichment alternatives. Okay. So I'm hoping that means that they're looking at the possibility of making a deal. And if that's the case, then we can expect crude oil to come back down. 100 is going to be a level of interest, right? It was resistance over here, could be support at this level here. But if we break down below 100, I mean, this, and depending on news, that's why it's incredibly difficult to trade oil right now, because there are so many moving parts. Gold, excuse me. Gold, I want to see. This is that wick that I was saying. I want to see it close the gap. It didn't go quite high enough for me, but it's definitely taken out some stops for the possibility of a move lower. What else have we got here? Oh, that was my alert on Apple here. I wanted to see, okay, we're coming down. We wicked up if this were, this is where I would zoom in to the 2-minute, and I would possibly short on the continuation of a bearish candle, right? This is the breakdown. This is the retest. I didn't like this candle here. Was there an entry on a 1-minute? Not necessarily, right? This 1-minute fair value gap held for now. We might just be trapping some shorts here. So be careful here. This is a possible strong area of support. S6 can be a very strong level of support. Let's look at the higher time frame. Right, we've got these massive candles here, but over here could be a level of support. And right down here was the low of Wednesday. We broke down below it, but then we really started buying there. So let's go back to the 5 and the 2. Still don't see a really bearish candle. This is bearish, but be careful here. It could just wick down and then start buying. So not a setup for me. MNQ. So let's get rid of my my fib levels here. We are filling this gap. I don't know why my MES. This is my futures setup. And this is MES. So I'm still working on these levels. I want to make sure that they're working properly. So on the 5-minute, we got a big indecision candle over here. And I see that there's a problem with my indicator because it's saying that pre-market high has moved up here, and it should not. Right, pre-market high should be right over here. So I'll be working on that right now. They're not my level. I just worked on this weekend and this morning, so they're not going to be perfect yet. I see that there's a glitch here that it moved the pre-market high to the high day right now. Indecision candle over here. We haven't really closed the gap yet. If anybody has news on the news, please don't hesitate to share it in the chat. And this is not open anyway. And then Q. That was yesterday's low. Pre-market low. Yeah, pre-market high needs to stop at 9:30 a.m. And just put a note for that. Things been informed that effective from 1400 UTC on Monday, maritime access restrictions are being enforced, affecting Iranian ports and coastal areas. Says restrictions include Arabian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, and the Arabian Sea east of the Strait of Hormuz. Good news, bad news, who knows? Yeah, who knows? It's so vague. Yeah. Let me just see what I've got here. That's what I said in pre-market prep. I'm absolutely waiting the first half hour. There's way too much unknown. The market does not like unknown. Right, so we wick down here. 100 seems to have held for now. This is just out of curiosity. This one. On Lunar. Yeah, this is very bullish. This is a company I'm interested or curious about. See, pre-market high worked on, it stopped here on equities, but it's on, yeah, it's on futures that it's continuing. So anyhow, anybody see anything that's tradable? And my apologies for just switching screens. I'll log it, or I'll upgrade my trading view possibly today, so that I can have at least a bunch of tickers on the screen. I don't know what my limit is right now. 10. So yeah, right now it's 2. So I will upgrade later on today and get back to this. Yeah, pre-market high works on equities. It just does not work. Any programmers in here? Why would it behave differently with futures? See how my pre-market high here is moving with futures, but with equities, back to the 5. Yeah, with equities, pre-market high stopped at 9:30. So anyway, I'll debug it a little bit later on, and if anybody's interested, I could always share it. I know, like I said, there's other indicators like this available. I just like having my own. That way, it's modifiable, and I can um, I can do the lines exactly like I had them in DOS. So we pretty much closed the gap from the close on Friday on gold, but now we're just chopping in a range, no trade. MNQ seems strong. But we're just closing this gap here. So MNQ, be very curious to see what it does at the central pivot range here. All right, we've got declining volume, possibly declining volume. At least we had higher volume on this indecision candle right here. Let's go back to this. Higher volume on this. Still a couple minutes before the candle closes, so we might have close to equal volume here. But this is an area of interest, right? This is where we want to see what will the market do at this level. At this point, I'm curious to see if I put cams over here and we were to pull back, if I were to short, my target would have to be around the 50 area over here. Or if you put your fibs on the news or the impulse move, this was the impulse move right here. And if this reverses, then for me, I would have to have be able to get take profit from my short before getting into the S4 area over here. Hopefully, all these lines are not too confusing. I know there's a lot on there. But basically what I'm looking at is I don't need these on here. And we don't know if this is a reversal. So the fibs shouldn't be on there either. So what I really like having is yesterday's high. This is no longer pre-market high here. Here, let's remove it. There we go. So this level could be interesting on a 5-minute. If it starts going down too much, then I won't be interested because it's not really a KT. I'd like it to close near the bottom and then break that low, right? As far as room to the left, I would have preferred if it took out the high here, right? The high from aftermarket on Friday. So interesting area right now, that's for sure. We definitely closed that gap. But is the news really bullish or not? Is it real? And 10 a.m., let's look at SPY. We have those housing numbers come in. Does not seem to have affected the market. Right. Again, SPY looks bullish. Right, this was the breakout. Retest on. Right, retest was very shallow here, but it was right at the high of day, right? So this was the break. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There you go. So this was the breakout, right? This is definitely bullish. I do not enter on a bullish breakout, but the retest, well, for the retest, it would have had to be on the 1 minute. And on the 1 minute, we came and retested this level right here. Let's put Alt H. You know, this was the high day before this candle, came and retested it. This, not really an entry candle because it's not really bullish. Neither is this. This is the first really bullish candle here. So entry here with a your stop below the wick here. I don't know. And 3R is above yesterday's high. Possible though. Yeah, let's put a long in here just right, with your stop below here. 3R right there. Just to see, would this breakout and retest, would this have worked? I don't know. We'll see. That's what I love about TradingView and these tools. We're bullish for the time being, but we seem to be rejecting the high of aftermarket on Friday. But again, this could be a breakout on the news. The retest was right after, but this 5-minute candle here is an indecision candle. I didn't really come down here and retest. If it comes down and retests this area, and then we see a lot of buying, this could be a breakout and retest scenario. Omar, indicators for London, Asia, high, low. Yeah, I have them here. They're sessions, trading sessions. Right, so this is London. London is still open. Don't know what the time change, if it's still noon that it closes around that time. This was Asia high low. I just put them on periodically. I just want to see if we're reacting to a certain level. So we chopped around just above Asia high on MES, then came down. This was pre-market low. Now we're above Asia high, right? And then these are the ranges from Friday. So again, I don't like having too much on my chart. With the first half hour being done now, I don't see anything. I don't trust anything right now. Now that we've closed this gap here, very curious to see what happens in MNQ here. Another minute and a half before this closes. Right, this could be a rejection candle. I hope the body doesn't get too big. MNQ at this level here could be interesting. So let me bring up my my calculation tool. Let's just put this here. So there's still a minute. So if we were to go short, 25,303. So short position on MNQ. Entry 25, what did I say? 25, 301. 25, 301. Stop would be above the wick, 25, 334. 25, 334 with chopped 2/3 of a percentage. So this would be about 5 contracts, right, to short. So this range right here at $300. Let's say if it was, $100 risk, then 1 contract. Right? I don't like how the candle closed. Right? It's showing buying. There's buying pressure over here. 25,300. Curious to know what happens below 25,300 on MNQ here. It's an interesting level, but it didn't take out. See, be careful here. When it just wicks down, trapping some shorts, and then doesn't really start moving, I don't like this price action. I mean, some people might go along on this because the move did not happen very, very fast. Or we just might not be at a level yet. And we just might be buying still. Might just be a retest of the continuation long. Gold. Yeah, gold close that gap. But look at all these wicks. Right? Wicks to the top, wicks to the bottom. I don't remember who coined the phrase, but it's like they have teeth. And when you've got wicks to the top and bottom like this, for me, that's a no-go. And MNQ. Yeah, MNQ did not take out the highs of this area here. So it's not at a level where I'm really interested. This pre-market high bugs me. I'll fix that right after 10:30. Starting to make new lows. And we broke the low of this 5-minute candle. Now we're breaking the low of this 5-minute candle. But again, when we break the low, there's not a lot of selling happening. So there's no panic going on. This could just be a breakout and retest. Target of yesterday high. AMD is just testing this area of support from Friday. I see a lot of indecision. I see lower volume as well. Now that I don't have DOS, a little bit harder to see R vol. I don't know if somebody uses another tool that they could share it in the chat. That's one thing I really enjoyed with DOS. And breaking news that the U.S. has started policing the Strait of Hormuz. Don't really know what that entails. Eric, can you look out the window and see what's going on?
Sorry, which window?
I say, can you look out the window? Apparently, the U.S. is policing the strait. Obviously, I'm trying to make light of the situation. There's nothing really funny about it, but
Yeah, very funny.
yeah.
And Avi is going to take sailing lessons during these times. I just can't believe him.
Did he really mention that?
Yeah, he was saying it's time to go sailing. I'm like, I'm big on fishing, okay? And with everything going on, I didn't go fishing out lately in the sea and stuff like that since the all events started going on. And he's going sailing now. And I'm like, dude.
Wow. And when he says go sailing, I mean the body of water there right outside Dubai is the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, geographically, it's close.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's east, I guess, from right from that big curve there. It's I know that's not the technical term, by the way. But anyway, it's a dangerous area nonetheless.
Having water sports now out of everything that's going on, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I tried sailing before it got into me, and I took a couple of classes. Sometimes it's not like the motorboats that you go on. Sometimes you just need to wait for the wind to take the direction, and it's much more complicated than motorboats.
Yeah, I've been a boat. I've had boats my entire life, but I have never once tried sailing. I love boating and love being on the water, but sailing just seems really, really complicated and difficult.
It have a lot of calculations. Yes, it's not the easiest.
I just want to put this out here for anybody looking at the possibility. This was the breakout move on MES, right? So this was the breakout. We have started reversing. This area right here is incredibly interesting for the possibility of a continuation, right? So breakout move, started reversing. We're coming back. We've got coordination here with yesterday's low as well as the golden zone. So let's just see for the possibility of going long on here. So now I'm looking at MES. The levels, I'm going to put 500 here because this is the combine. So if we were, or if I were to go long, I want to see it come and touch and really start buying. I want to see the volume come in. I want to see buyers getting involved around the 68.45 area. So possibility of going long. This is the wrong one. I will be changing this to have it all in one shortly. So MES, possibility of going long, it would have to be above 68.45. Now, these are not exact, but they give you a good idea. right? And then stop. Well, an aggressive stop would be right below the wick if it did come down here and touch in this 50% zone. So let's just put in 68, even below this wick here, 68.41. 68.41. It's still a pretty tight stop for $500. That's 25 contracts, but it didn't make it yet. Right? See how this wicked down? We might be trapping some buyers here. Be careful, right? Because it did not come down to the level. It came down to close to yesterday's low. But for me, it has to come and touch into the 50, into the golden zone, the 50 to 61.8. And then I want to see some strong buying. And be careful here. This is something I mentioned last week. Right? This is not ideal, but there are people that will, there's retail that will go long just on the break of this candle. But then look, it went right above and then reversed. And their stops, whoever went long here, their stops is right below yesterday's low. I wouldn't be surprised to come down here, wick it, and then possibly move up. So for me, that's something I'll be looking at. I'm on for another 8 or 9 minutes. This is pretty much the setup that I'm looking at for now. With the futures, the golden zone continuation is going to be my main setup, as well as kangaroo tail, double tops, double bottoms, continuations, as in a break and retest. But that's what this golden zone is. It's a break and retest. It broke out of this area, right? Broke out of yesterday's low, broke out here, came down, and is coming down and might come down and retest, right? And you know what? I might miss it. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Right? If it does continue from here, this might have been the retest. I'm okay missing it. I want it. I want to see it come down and touch into the golden zone. But if anybody went long here, that's great. You know, if it continues. And by the way, for this, with the 25 contracts, it's only a 4 points, right? There's only 4 points at risk. So that's why for $500, you need 25 contracts. So when I do this calculation before actually getting into a position, I probably wouldn't get in with the full 25 contracts, right? It would have to depend. That's why I love this setup, is that you can actually take your time. You take your time. The stop loss is often very obvious, because here it could be just beyond the 61.8, right? So 4 points, take your time, probably go in 22, 23 contracts or 20 contracts, just right, because just to allow for slippage and you don't know exactly what your what the level is going to be. There you go. There's a rejection. So we're seeing a lot of selling here, possibly took some stops out. Right. Now that it came and touched it, I would zoom into the 2. Right, look at it, just touched it. Now the stop is what, 57 to 45, right? So if your entry was up here, well, my calculations up here are no longer valid. This definitely looked like a liquidity sweep to take out the stops of those that went long here, and a possibility of a continuation here. But for me, I want to see it come down into this 50% zone, and then I want to see some buying. So I'll be patient. We'll see what happens.
There's a multiple article indicators on TradingView but I don't know which one is accurate. This is the whole thing.
Yeah, is it just RVOL?
Yes.
RVOL. I don't usually like looking at the one that's got the most users, right? I have used it in the past. I just don't remember. It's just, why does it have to be so much? It's so busy. Oh, RVOL. Yeah, I'll look into it. Thank you for sharing. Like I said, there's not a lot of things I'm going to miss from. Where is it? Where do I go? How do I remove it now? Oh, right here. Boom. There's not a lot of things I'm going to miss from DOS, but RVOL was one of the things. I like the idea of having 10 or 8 tickers on my screen, but that's something I can fix. I can fix pretty easily. So still looking at MES. MNQ might be similar. MNQ, let's put the right. So the impulse move started right here, and then we reversed right there. Look at how it came and touched. But for me, this is too long of a wick. Right? RVR is just not there for me. So I'll leave it here, and we might come back down, and RVR might be a little bit better if we come and retouch after 11 a.m. 11:30. But right now, this is the RVR is just too wide for me on this candle right here. But interesting price action. These fibs, especially the 50%, are very useful. Right? What I like about them is that it's very visual for a visual person like myself. It's pretty easy to see. It's just a breakout and retest, but you can see where you'd be able to put your stops and then your entry. Well, it has to be if it went into the zone and really started buying. Well, that is what happened with MNQ here, but there's no entry signal on the 5. Go to the 2. When it touched, over here is the touch. There's a bullish candle. It would have to break above the 25,200 level. Right? That would be an entry. But again, I'm not taking it because RVR is too far away. Visually, let's look at the long tool. You'd have to go here. You'd have to go in on the break. Let's say it happened here. And your stop would have to be below the wick. Look at getting back to yesterday high is only 1.5. 1.5 R. Not worth it for me. So anyway, hopefully that is informative. Those of you that want to see how it is that I trade, thank you, Tarek. I am going to cut out. It is 10:30. I believe, I know that Avi said he'd be on, but I don't remember what time. Let me go back to Avi noon. Going to make it online at noon Eastern today. So Avi will be here in about an hour and a half. In about an hour and a half. And for me, if I take anything according to what it is I was just explaining, I will share it tomorrow. And if I see anything else, I will. I'd like to analyze it again tomorrow, probably right before the opening session. Okay, so with that, no other questions. RVOL label by Ripster on TradingView. Oh, thank you, Omar. I will go look at that as well. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions or comments here. Nice RVOL percentage. No visuals needed. Yeah, I just want to see the percentage. You know what? Maybe I'll. In my mind, I'd like to have an indicator that's got everything that I like to see, like the pre-market levels, the yesterday high, like these levels that I'm building out right now. I might build out an RVOL number in there as well. So stay tuned. We'll see if I've got time to program it with the help of AI. I might just do that. So we'll see. Again, I'll share tomorrow if I take anything. With that, I'm out of here. I'll try to log back in. Merci, Oli. I'll try to log back in when Avi's in at noon. If not, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Okay. Thanks. Bonne journée. Salut.